good afternoon, family. Welcome to another episode of Soul Inspirations by Anadel Center. Today we have the very acclaimed Dr. Kanene Ubessie. Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Good afternoon. I'm doing well. Thank you.
And we want to say a big thank you to you for letting us into your personal space. I know you're super busy. We appreciate you letting us in here today.
No problem. Thank you for coming.
Yes. Before we start, how's your day going?
Well, my day started in the surgical ICU at Parkland.
Wow.
And but it will end in a very nice dinner celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
Amen
so
to
I'm
that.
excited.
Beautiful. So it looks like it's going to be a good day. Before we get into you and what you do, being a foot and ankle guy, I'm usually looking down at people's feet, right? So we want to talk a little bit about your shoe collection.
Okay.
I know you got a fly shoe game, you know what I'm saying? Because I peep you in the hospital, you know, I will talk about your career in a little bit. But first things first, do you have the newest pair of shoes you have, the last pair of shoes you bought?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
Yes, pull that out and let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I was just driving. I was like, I feel like I need a new pair of shoes. It was a long day. And I was like, a new pair of shoes always makes the day just go better.
Just better, yes.
So, and when I thought about that, I have a shoe guy.
Okay. You have a shoe guy.
I have a shoe guy.
There's levels to this, guys. There's levels to this. She's got a shoe guy. Okay?
I got a shoe guy. Shout out to him.
Okay.
I don't want to say his next. I don't want y'all to steal my shoe guy.
We're going to steal your shoe guy. Put him back in it over here. But go ahead. Let's see the shoes there. Put them up here.
These are the shoes.
Okay.
Bam.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So these are Christian Louboutins.
Okay.
And I'm just now getting into the Christian, the CLs.
Okay.
They're not very comfortable. The whole store is just not, they look cute. They're just, but these are actually pretty comfortable. So my shoe guy knows what kind of shoes I like. I like simple, something that I can run in because I'm always running around.
True.
These are great. They're very strappy. Can go with any outfit. So these are the latest shoes.
Very good. So these are comfortable?
These are comfortable, yes.
Interesting.
They actually are. They don't look comfortable.
Yes.
But it's...
I would never guess. How many inches would you say those are? If you would guess.
Oh gosh. I would say these are... They have certain inches, so I'm not... I don't know what kind of inches they have.
Right.
But these are... I think these are 3 inches.
Right, 4 inches? Absolutely. So you think you can run in those? Like if you had to run, book it from the ER up to the... You can run in these?
Yes.
She's a pro, man. Let's talk a little bit about heels for a second.
Yeah.
I always wonder how, people who wear heels started wearing heels. Did you learn how to wear heels? Did it just come naturally? Your mom? How did that happen?
So I actually did not. I grew up a tomboy.
Okay. So we would never guess. We could have had it, but go ahead.
I was always in tennis shoes and flats.
Wow.
And I always had shorts on. So I never really started wearing heels until my high school year.
Interesting. Okay.
And I don't actually remember having any hard time with them.
Really?
I think if you have great calves and great foot structure,
true that,
or athletic, I think heels are okay.
Really?
But yeah, I never really had a problem learning how to walk.
Yeah, but it came naturally for her. You can tell she's got really good posture and muscle, good confidence. And we'll talk about that later. Okay. So let's put these away. How about the oldest pair of shoes you have in your collection?
Oh, okay.
Let me
see.
Show you. And we're going to talk about why you still got these shoes.
These shoes.
Look at these right here, guys.
Followed me everywhere.
Wow.
Okay? These are actually pretty cute. They're Nine West. Y'all remember when Nine West sold shoes?
The youngins don't know nothing about no Nine West.
They don't know about Nine West. So I love these shoes because they're super comfortable and I can wear them in the winter.
Yep.
Winter doesn't happen very often in Texas.
True.
It's not really cold. So that's why they've weathered the storm. I've had to replace the undersoles on them and the heels on them already.
Wow.
Because they were so old. And even when I went to go replace them, they were telling me that they're pretty old and they don't know if they can do it, refresh them, but they did. So I get to keep them.
So you actually called Nine West to replace the sole?
Oh, no. I brought it up to a shoe store.
Oh, I was about to say that. Your shoe guy is really good if he got the Nine West CEO number, right?
Right. No.
I like it. Tell me a little bit about the story behind this. How long ago did you get this, and were you in training? Were you in high school, college? I mean, you remember?
I remember I was in early training, and Nine West was a great store to buy affordable shoes that were comfortable but cute. And so I needed a pair of booties. And so I went into Nine West, I saw the booties, and I thought it was really cute that they had the leather straps, and they were supportive, and I didn't feel like my feet were hurting in them.
Wow.
Like, these are my work. I wear these to work.
Wow. So these check the boxes for comfort, functionality, style, everything.
Yeah.
Very good. Much. Free advertising for Nere West. So y'all got to pay her, man. She don't come cheap. Okay.
Bring the shoes back. Y'all have some good shoes.
Yeah, no, right? Come on. All right, but let's talk about your everyday shoe.
My
most
everyday
comfortable. Yeah, your everyday comfortable, slides or whatever.
Shout out to my shoe guy.
Okay. Shoe guy again, man. Shoe guy again. We're going to have to get this guy's number.
So these are the most comfortable that I've had.
Wow.
I recently bought these.
Okay.
I had some other shoes that were like these that were from a different store.
Mm-hmm. I
believe they were from Express. And so I've upgraded. So
yes. She's upgraded, no doubt.
So these are Christian Louboutins. And so they are so comfortable. They've become my everyday shoe.
Interesting.
Now. These are the most comfortable CLs I've ever bought.
Wow.
And so they go with everything, all colors,
nice
even black.
Color. Yep.
Nice neutral color. I got a Chanel bag to match. So these are it.
Beautiful. So where would you wear something like this to? I mean, what kind of occasion?
You can wear this to any occasion, honestly. You can wear these to a very casual occasion. You can wear this to a business function. It really depends on what's above the ankles.
Makes sense.
And then you could also wear this to a very fancy occasion. Yeah, I've done all three.
Okay. Very good. Now we're going to talk a little bit about your career. And I know you're a trauma surgeon. What kind of shoes do you wear in the OR when you operate? Are you more of a tennis girl, tennis shoe, athletic type shoe, or no?
Yeah, I love the girlies that be wearing the tennis shoes.
Right. That ain't for you, huh?
No, it's the reason why I wish it was because I'm a runner, and so I want to have supportive shoes.
Makes sense.
But they would get blood, poop, vomit, urine.
True that. Yeah. So you're not wearing white Nike Air Jordans or nothing like that.
Or nothing with cloth. So unfortunately, there hasn't really been there hasn't been a tennis shoe that came out that you can just wipe off. It looks actually good. So
ideas for you guys, Nike, Adidas. Y'all got to think about this, man. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. So I wear basically they're not. I used to wear dance
clothes, right?
But dance clothes they take a while to break in.
Yes.
So now wear these slip-in kind of dance like looking shoes. They can be autoclaved, sterilized. And I can wipe them off easily. And they're great. I have 2 pairs.
Awesome. Very good. All right. How about a shoe that has some kind of sentimental value to you?
Oh, I have 2.
Okay.
For the same reason.
Same reason. We got to find out.
Similar reason. Let me say that. Okay. So, these shoes. And I'm the type of girl, I will buy shoes. I don't care the price. I don't care what store.
Amen.
These are Aldo's. Okay.
Shout out to Aldo's.
So these, I'll put these here. And then I'll put these here as well. These are also Aldo's.
Interesting.
Okay. So.
Yeah, I see that, right? Okay.
Gold, rose gold.
Okay. There is a difference, right?
There is a difference. Every girl needs a gold and rose gold shoe in their closet. So these shoes were worn, the first time they were each worn were during celebrations.
Okay.
I bought these shoes for my 40th birthday in 2021, and it was a great celebration because it brought my family together.
Oh, wow.
It brought all my close friends together. It was a huge thing that I've been planning for 10 years. So these are very sentimental to me.
Beautiful.
It just reminds me of all the great times that I've had with my friends and my family, and it was just a fun, wonderful evening.
Fun evening, right? Yes.
So fast forward to 2023, you have these shoes. And 2023 was a monumental year for me. I graduated from my MBA.
Awesome. Congratulations, by the way. We're going to talk about that, man. Yes.
My dad turned 70.
Big milestone year, man.
Big milestone. And my brother graduated and earned his degree in criminal justice. So it's a lot of celebrations.
Lots.
I threw a big party.
I ain't getting no invite, guys, but we're going to talk about that later. Oh, that's why. Go ahead.
He's right, Houston. So I threw a really big party. I'm still paying for that party, by the way.
Oh, snap. Okay.
It was
big party.
Big party, big pockets, right? But it was very sentimental because my parents invited their friends. I invited my friends. All my family invited all their friends.
Beautiful.
And we had a wonderful time.
Man.
And my parents told me the next day that they were very proud of me, and this was the best time that they ever had in their life. And they're Nigerian.
Wow, Nigerian parents. You get that. You know that means something, man, for sure.
So it really touched my heart. So these are
beautiful. I mean, that's such a wonderful story, man. Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
Any other pair of shoes that you might want to get rid of that you haven't gotten rid of yet, my man?
Yes, I do. I haven't gotten rid of these because I don't know, because it's my favorite company.
We might have a pseudo hunter in the house, but let's talk about this. Let's talk about this.
I'm a runner. Last year, I ran 7 marathons.
Wow. Okay.
So obviously when you're a runner, you start to learn the mechanics of running and how your feet are, and what's on your feet is so important.
So important.
That helps not just with improving your time, but also with not having any injuries. Not just in your feet, but above your feet.
Superstructurally.
So I did a thorough research of running shoes, and I've switched my running shoes since then. But these were originally my running shoes. They're from Nobles. Shout out to Nobles. I have 8 pairs of their trainers. Wow. Okay. I love their trainers for weightlifting. Okay. But these I was using for running. Okay. And they weren't, I'm never going to go back to these for running. And now I just use them to kind of walk around, maybe go gardening or I don't really use this for exercise. I just use it just because they're black. And who doesn't love a black tennis shoe? Awesome. So I'm contemplating giving them away, but I'm just like, I just need a regular pair of tennis shoes I can just put on to go check the mail. Okay. What are you running right now? Oh, let me tell you.
Let's talk about these, man. There are a lot of opinions about Nike running shoes and Asics and Adidas and Hokas and Minimalist. I mean, we'll go into that later. But let's talk about what you got on here. Let me tell you.
So I love Nike clothes. Okay. I've always been a Nike clothes fan. All right. But I was not a Nike run shoe fan. Right. I was like, who wears Nike shoes to go running?
Run, especially long distance. Right?
I'm like, they're for cosmetic purposes only. Hey, like, what is that?
What is that about? Yes, talk to me.
Then I heard about the Nike Vaporfly 3s. Okay. And I was looking for a training shoe and a race shoe. Someone told me to try out the Nike Vaporfly 3s. All right. Because this is where all the super marathon people train in, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was like, let me try this. I don't know. I was very skeptical. So I went to an athletic store and I tried these on. And I was changed.
You a believer now?
Instant.
I
was like, what? Where have I been all my life?
Okay.
So let me tell you guys, when you're training to run, you need the right shoes. This guy will tell you.
I will definitely tell you that.
Don't make that mistake, please. Because these have changed the game.
Wow. Shout out to Nike, man. Y'all got to call this lady up for sure, man. Absolutely. Very good. Well, thank you very much for showing us your shoe collection. We know you have multiple shoes, but we want to talk a little bit about your journey. You're a successful surgeon, a trauma surgeon. For those who don't understand, what exactly is a trauma surgeon? How do you become a trauma surgeon?
Sure. Yeah. So any general surgeon that goes through training can be a trauma surgeon because we all take care of trauma patients throughout our training. Okay. But over the years, since I graduated in 2014, over the years, a trauma surgeon has been going towards critical care surgery. So now they're looking for surgeons that are trained in critical care, and that's essentially a trauma. So a trauma is any mechanism that injures the body.
Makes sense.
Or penetrates the body. That is a trauma. A fall, stabbing, gunshot, motor vehicle collision, all the above. And so I take care of all those patients. Wow. It's a pretty stressful job because it's life and death. Seconds matter.
Literally, yes.
So you have to be really astute, and you have to be really intelligent and be on your toes to save someone's life. Absolutely. But I love it. It's a great reward for me. You see instant results. You change people's lives for the good. So.
Makes sense. And one of the questions I get is, how much school, how much time did it take for you to become a surgeon, whatever? For a trauma surgeon, I'm sure, there's undergrad, there's medical school, there's residency, and multiple fellowships. Yes. Tell us about that, man. Break it down. How many years before you became the trauma surgeon that you are today?
Multiple years, and I didn't take a gap year.
Oh, wow. Okay? Wow. No gap year in between?
No gap year. Wow. I went straight through. So it's 4 years of college, 4 years of medical school, and I did 7 years of residency.
Jesus, 7 years of residency. I'm going to have to pause on that. 7 years of residency. Yes. I keep going.
And then I did a burn fellowship, which was 1 year, and I did a fellowship in critical care, which is another year. Wow. So you put all those together, that's 17 years of schooling.
17 years of schooling. Oh my gosh. Yeah. For anybody watching this video right now, like a young girl in Anambra State in Nigeria or in South Dallas or whatever, who wants to be a trauma surgeon, what would you say about the trauma game today? Would you encourage them to get into it?
Oh, definitely. We need more females in trauma surgery.
Amen to that. Yep.
And we need more females of color in trauma surgery.
Yes.
But trauma surgery, it's not for the faint of heart. I will say that. It is a difficult career to get into, but it's so rewarding that you don't even realize. Wow. When you're doing something that you love, it doesn't matter what it takes to get there.
Right.
So I would definitely encourage anybody to go into the field of surgery, especially trauma surgery. It's very lucrative.
Very lucrative. People don't want to talk about money, but it makes a difference now.
It does.
We got school loans, right?
You got school loans, but you also got to live. You gotta
live, right? Yes, I love it.
So it's very lucrative and it's very rewarding as taking care of patients.
Absolutely, that's such a a good thing to mention. For you mentioned female Black trauma surgery. I tell people I mentor all the time, it's probably easier for you to be a Black neurosurgeon than to become an NBA player. But that might be reversed for a Black female trauma surgeon. You probably a 1 in a million. I mean, come on,
yes.
Just talk to me about that, man. Yes,
we are Black unicorns.
Hello,
like for real, literally.
It's probably easier to be an NBA player than to be a Black female.
It sure is. Yep. On the male team.
Yes, on the male team. Talk about that. Yes.
So, it's been a journey.
Yes.
And even it's been a journey to get to where I am now. But it's been a journey just to be a trauma surgeon. There's so few physicians of color in trauma surgery. Right. And then there's so even fewer physicians of color that are females in trauma surgery. Right. And it's a blessing that I get to represent us. And every time I step into the hospital, that's what I remember.
That's what you remember.
I am not a representative of just myself.
Exactly.
I'm representing everybody that was before me and everybody that's behind me.
Absolutely.
So taking that, I have a lot of pride in my job, knowing that I'm not just fighting for me when things are challenging. I'm also fighting for a whole generation. I'm fighting for a whole race, a whole gender.
Yes.
And so it's a lot. It's a added burden that my counterparts don't have.
Yes.
But it's also a sense of pride for me.
Absolutely. That's really, really inspiring. And we want to talk a little bit about, one of the things that I see nowadays is this idea of work-life balance. As a trauma surgeon, that's got to be very, very intensive as far as work hours are concerned. I'm sure there's a little bit of give and take. Talk a little bit about, the work-life balance and how you maintain that and how you balance that out.
Yeah, so this word phrase work-life balance is tossed around so many
times. Yes.
And I want people to understand the balance is not a day-to-day thing. The balance is over your lifetime. Exactly. Right? Exactly. There's going to be times where you're just working to get over a hump. And then once you're over that hump, then you got a period of time that you're living life. Yeah. And we have to keep that in mind because I think when people try to have the work-life balance from day to day, that's when the anxiety, and the stress, and the frustration come.
Absolutely.
And so, for me, to translate the balance part, what does that mean? It means being able to be true to yourself.
Absolutely.
If you feel that you are being forced to go to work, you get up in the morning and you're just like, I don't want to do this.
Right.
There's something that's off, right? You haven't given enough time for yourself. I know this word is used a lot lately, but you haven't given yourself enough self-care.
Self-care, yes.
You haven't paid attention to yourself. Listen to that. Listen to that feeling inside. If you started this thing and you loved it and you were going full force, that's great. But if at some point that you get to where you feel that it's pulling away from you, listen to that and pull back. It's okay. The job will be there. Yes. Okay. And your job doesn't care about you. I'm sorry.
Do that. You're just a number, man, for real.
You're just another employee. They will replace you.
They will find another person.
Right. Yes. But you can't replace yourself. Amen. So just put you first and it's okay. Trust me. And there's been sometimes I was afraid to tell people no. Wow. And say, and they would ask me, well, what else are you doing? I'm resting. Okay. And they would look at me like, what?
Surgery? You rested? They don't go together, right?
and I had no qualms. I was just like, whatever you're feeling, that's a personal problem.
That's on you, man.
But I'm resting. You're going to have to find another person to do it.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Having that voice, that's so important. Female as a surgeon, I'm sure you just doing that inspires a lot of people who are, looking. You might not even be aware of it, but they're looking at you and you're saying, if she can do that, and have that voice, then maybe I can have that voice, whether it's a nurse or a caretaker or whoever, that's important. Let's talk a little bit about challenges that you've had. We've all had challenges in our life, especially in your career. I'm sure you've had some challenges. Can you mention any specific challenges you had in your journey and how your faith helped you through those challenges?
Oh gosh, man. Where do I start?
Where do you start, right?
So I like to tell people I truly didn't know I was Black until medical school.
Wow. Okay. Where did you go to medical school, by the way? Can we ask that?
Antonio.
Okay. Beautiful. Go ahead.
San Antonio Health Science Center.
All right.
And so, because my parents always taught us to see everybody from an equal eye.
Equal eye. Yeah.
I really do think racism is taught in the home. It's not something that people just grow to have.
Right.
It's
learned behavior.
It's a learned behavior.
Right? Yeah.
And so my parents taught us to treat everybody with equal love and equal fairness. And so that's the kind of the mentality I grew up with. I got to medical school and I was in my surgical rotation, which is very important. That's what I wanted to be.
That's what she wanted to be. Yeah.
And another orthopedic student was there. And I guess I was doing better than her. I mean, honestly, to this day, I don't understand still. But she just didn't care for me.
Wow.
She was a Caucasian woman. She was twice my age.
Oh, wow.
She was recently going through a divorce. She was held back. There's all these things in her life that was very frustrating. So I attributed that, her actions to that. Right. But I guess I was doing better than her. She didn't like it. She manipulated the system, said some things about me that weren't true.
Wow.
I got in trouble. I got pulled out of school and I could not understand.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I got suspended for 1 week because, and to this day, I don't know what she told administration.
Wow.
And they suspended me and not her. And it was, I just couldn't understand. Me, a straight A, 5-star student.
Straight laced, man. From a Nigerian home. I already know, man. What's she going to
right? AP classes, you know. I've never been in the principal. I don't even know where the principal
What is that?
was.
Detention? What is that?
I didn't know what that was. What is that? And so I'm just like, how am I in the dean's office?
Yes.
What's going on
What's going on here?
And so I did it because I wanted to finish school, but I really had to rely on God during that time.
Wow.
And that's when my relationship with God really strengthened because that's really all that I had.
Yes.
And the way God pulled me through was just amazing. Now, because of that incident, I missed match day.
Wow.
That was very heartbreaking.
Tough.
It was very tough for me. I was in my closet, boo-hooing, just like, I don't understand why this is me.
Right.
You know, but I got through. You know, it was amazing. The next day, the program coordinator from my residency, I called them because they had a spot open. And she was like, I don't know what it is about you, but I feel instantly connected to you.
That's God.
Yes.
That's all I got.
That's God,
That's
right?
a God thing, right?
And we're still in contact with each other to this day.
Wow.
Almost 20 years later. And so she was like, I feel like I have to vouch for you. I don't know what happened in the medical school, but she was like, what I'm reading on the paper is not what I'm hearing.
It's not matching, right?
It's not matching.
It ain't matching.
Yeah, you know?
Come on now.
And so the math is not mathing.
Yes.
So she literally went to town for me at that residency. Was like, I don't know what you guys have to do. You need this resident in your program. And it was because of her that I was able to get into a surgical program.
Wow.
And I didn't lose any time.
Wow.
So that was the first challenge
of many challenges.
Yes. So residency was very hard. I went to residency in Roanoke, Virginia. I started at Carolian Clinic. I don't mind saying their names.
We know.
Right. And so, in case y'all don't know, I think Roanoke was one of the original 13 colonies. It looks like it still is.
It still is, right? Yes.
So, and it was incredible over there. They just don't like Black people.
Yeah.
So I had a really rough time during that residency.
Wow. How did you get through that, man? That must have been tough.
God,
that's the only way.
It was the only way. I kid you not. It was the only way. You know, I had one more year left. The new program director that came in was trying to get rid of me to make space for another resident to come back, a Caucasian male.
Wow.
And he chose me because I had the loudest mouth. Who knew?
Who knew?
So I was more visible than my other counterpart, the other African American girl.
Absolutely.
And so he just gathered nurses complaint. I had nothing in my record.
Wow.
My record was clean.
Wow.
He went around and talked to nurses, and whoever didn't like me, he had them write a formal letter to put in my chart to build up a case.
Wow.
And he tried to fire me.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, so I sued the whole hospital system.
Wow.
It was a lot.
It's a mess, it sounds like. Yeah.
But out of the sky, a spot at another institution opened. It wasn't out of the sky, it was God.
It was God. That's what we're emphasizing.
Yes. I mean, there's more levels to this story, but, you know, that position came literally in the most darkest and most full of despair time for me. But it was the time that I was closest to God, and he was just like, I will get you through this. And I had to trust on him because there was nothing else. Like, there was no other options, you know? And he fell through, and I ended my residency at Fairfax, and it was a great last 2 years of my life.
Another Virginia program.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But they were phenomenal. And I remember going there, and I had this strong PTSD just from all the trauma that I had in residency. And there's nothing like allyship.
Wow.
There's nothing like when someone verbally tells you they support you. My chief resident at the time, he noticed that I was just very defensive because, of course, like...
It's PTSD, man. You're dealing with trauma.
Exactly. And so he was like, Nene, I want to sit you down. So he brought me to his office, and he was like, we are here for you. We are not against you. I know your history. I know where you came from. I get it. I know that school, but here we are going to support you.
Amen.
You don't need the defense.
Amen.
And he was like, and once he said that, literally the walls fell.
Yes. Another evidence of God intervening in a stressful situation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So moving forward, the PTSD caused me to not do well on my boards. I remember going into the computer rooms to take my written boards, and the screen will literally be white for hours.
Oh my gosh.
And I would just sit there and just stare at the screen. And then time would be up, and I was like, okay, well, I failed that one.
That one, yep.
And I did that for 6 years.
Wow.
And so I tell people I took the same test for 6 years, studied for the same test for 6 years. And it wasn't until I realized how my PTSD was connected to my test taking, because once again, I'm an AP student, honor student. I did well in my studies, this doesn't make sense. So I took it upon myself to get some therapy to go through all the trauma that I went through. Therapy is not bad, guys. Please do it.
Especially in our community. We can talk about it. You know about it.
Yes, exactly. In our community. I don't understand. I think everybody needs to be born with a therapist.
Amen. Amen to that. Amen to that.
I too hard got one.
Okay.
So once we got down and got through all the trauma and healed from that process, I instantly passed my next written board exams.
Look at that.
I took my oral boards. I took it twice because the first time was pre-pandemic, and I was in. You can imagine it's in a hotel room full of white men.
Yep.
And so once again, the PTSD crawled up.
Yep.
And so the next time I took it was during after the pandemic started, and we did it virtually.
Wow.
And I was able to do it in my own home, in front of a computer screen. I think that really helped me pass.
Right? That helped.
So all of these challenges have really delayed me a little bit. But when I look back over my life and over my training, I realized that
God had a plan. I'm sorry to interrupt. God definitely had a plan.
God had a plan.
Yes.
Right? Because nobody can tell me about surgical knowledge. I literally did 14 years of residency.
Come on now. She way experienced than all the little medical directors out there, man.
I had to study the same information for 7 years.
7 years, my God.
Restudy. I took a residency for 7 years and did test studying for 7 years. And that was just, I tell people I took 2 residencies. But because of that, I know my knowledge, my surgical technique is excellent.
On point. Yes. And I can testify to that. I sit her at the hospital, no doubt. Yes. Go ahead.
So because of that, I was able to excel in the types of things that I did and excel with titles and everything.
Absolutely. So for people who don't know, you are trauma medical director. I mean, that's another level on top of levels, man. When did you become a medical director? How did that happen? And I'm sure God was in that too, man. Yes.
Oh my gosh. So my first kind of upper level surgical position was vice chair of surgery. So I was vice chair of surgery twice. I was chair of surgery in Houston during the pandemic. And I was surgical. So I basically kept climbing up. And I took the opportunities. I saw opportunities where I can be pushed, challenged, taking more and more responsibility. And so I took those opportunities, and that's what helped me build to what I am now. So I took a year away. I left my hospital in Houston because I was just like, this is work-life balance. I need a balance. I need to escape from this. This is too much stress for me. And I did traveling. I was a travel surgeon for about 8 months.
Okay.
And so this job came up in Frisco. UT Southwestern is affiliated with Frisco. It's a joint venture. And they wanted to build a trauma center here.
Yes.
And they wanted to build the best trauma center here. So they did a search for a trauma medical director. And I heard about it. I applied, and I, I felt I had the wherewithal to do this, because in Houston, I also helped bring 3 other hospitals to their designation.
Wow.
And then I had all of the experience of leadership that I had in my pocket.
Yeah.
So I was just like, this is my job. That's my title. I don't know about what you guys think.
God got my name on it, man. You wasted your job.
Sometimes you gotta call it.
You gotta just name it, man. Yes.
Right. From my lips to God's ears.
Amen to that, yes.
And so I instantly got the job, and that was in November 2022 when I started.
Again, yes.
Thank you. And we went and started the process of becoming a trauma center.
Wow.
What normally takes a trauma center 2 years to do to get their designation, we did in 8 months.
Wow.
And so, and I did it
all because of her, guys. And God.
And God. God makes miracles. I didn't even, when I came in, I was telling my bosses, I was telling them we don't have enough time. Normally it takes hospitals 2 years, 2 to 3 years to get their designation. And they wanted me to do it in 1 year.
Wow.
1 year.
Wow.
And I told them there's no way.
There's no way.
But I still took the job. And so I just kept working. And before I knew it, 8 months had passed and we were ready for our survey.
Wow.
And I was just like, wow.
Boom. Just like that. Yo.
Did it with me, the trauma manager and the trauma coordinator, no other surgeons. And it was a lot.
I'm sure you did it. Congratulations again. And you talked previously about, those shoes and getting your MBA. So, a lot of physicians have a lot of head knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Have a lot of medicine knowledge. Don't know anything about business. We get in trouble all the time. So I noticed you've gotten an MBA, talk a little bit about that and what you're wanting to do with that.
Right. So with all of these experiences that I've had, it put in me the wherewithal or the strength to own my own. I truly feel that we cannot make any change until we own our own.
Yes.
And we're in the position of creating that change.
Yes.
And so I told myself, okay, how am I going to do that?
Yeah.
And how am I going to incorporate medicine into that? Because that's what I want to do. And so I realized that I don't know anything about business. I don't know anything about making money. I don't know anything. So what can I do? And I know my learning style. I like to learn in a environment that I'm given stuff, a planned environment. And I'm not the type of person, I'm not a university Google type person, not university that. YouTube.
You ain't doing that, huh?
I need something structured. So I went through all of the information and I chose UT Austin. UT Austin.
Yeah. McCombs School, right? Yeah.
Right, McCombs School of Business.
Yep.
And I went with them because I was also my college. I actually went to college there. Okay. And I wanted to be a double Longhorn. And they're nationally known. They're in the top 20 of business schools in the world.
Absolutely.
So that was my school of choice. They had an executive MBA course that worked with my schedule. I was able to travel once a month to do schooling. And it was hard. I worked full time and I did my MBA, but I was determined. I wanted to start my own business so that I could make a difference.
Absolutely. That is so awesome, man. Guys, this is so inspirational. Now, as Christians, like the world that says we can do everything on our own, we believe in community. The Bible says we should fellowship and work as communities. And so I want to talk a little bit about mentorship. I'm sure you've had some important mentors in your life. I'm sure your parents were highly influential. Talk a little bit about some mentors you've had and how they have helped you get to where you are today.
So that's a funny thing that you say that because I actually haven't had specific mentors.
Okay.
I would say outside of my parents, 98% of my life was done on my own.
Wow.
And that's not a good thing, guys.
That's not, yes.
and that was all God, because there's so many areas I could have been strayed away. There are so many areas I could have fallen because I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
And the fact that I made it through, it wasn't on my own.
It's another testament of God. Definitely.
Yeah. And so because of that, I've learned a lot through life and trying to jump through the hoops and trying to learn. I am a mentor to other people.
Yes, ma'am.
And I seek that to be a mentor to other people. I seek mentees because I didn't have that.
Right.
My parents were my mentors early on in life, but after the age of 18, it was kind of like me on my own.
On your own, right? Yeah.
Parents can only really mentor you to a certain extent, which is why they're there. They're parents.
That's it. Yes.
But after that, it you got to find a mentor. So mentorship is very important, especially to go through life so that you're not as stressed and as frustrated through life.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Really, really good. Really, really good and really, really important. For people who are seeing this today and, want to literally be like you someday, how can they get a hold of you? Are you on LinkedIn, social media? I mean, how can we find, the
I'm on all the things.
All the times, yes.
Not TikTok.
I ain't on that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They scare me a little bit.
They scare me a little bit, man. Just a little bit.
So I am on LinkedIn under my name, Dr. Kanene Ubessie.
All right.
And I'm also on Instagram, same name, Dr. Kanene Ubessie, MD.
Okay.
And I'm on Facebook, same name.
Okay.
And I'm not, what is it, Twitter or X? What is it? X?
I still say Twitter, but I know they call it an X now. It is what it is.
I'm not on Twitter.
Not on Twitter. How about Thread? They got Thread now. I mean, that's the new one.
Oh, I don't
the
see.
Instagram one, I guess. I don't know.
I'm old school. I keep telling my trainees it's been 10 years since I graduated. I'm officially old school. So
officially old school, man. She's a millennial though, man. She's still young. I love it. We want to say a big thank you, Dr. Ubessie. You've been such a pleasure and such an inspiration. We know you're super busy, so for all the people out there, you know how to find her, get a hold of her. She's an inspiration, and we know she'll be a blessing. So thank you very much, and have a great day.
Thank you.